What's up, Sooner fans? Welcome to the Sooner Surge. We know it's a bye week for the beloved Sooners, but we are here to break down, talk about the Sooners in this mid-season review video. Before we start, click the subscribe button. Be a part of it. We're continuing to drop content after content after content, putting up as much content as the Sooners are points each week. So, yeah, be a part of it. Turn on those notifications, like, and comment. Guys, 6-0, exactly. Maybe where I'm sure OU coaches and players, this is the place they wanted to be. They're there. Fans, I think, were a little bit wondering about the Texas game. That's in the rearview mirror now, guys. So you got that behind you. You're 6-0. Let's do a little mid-season reflection review here, boys.
You can't be in a better spot. 6-0. I mean, that's the best you can be. Even in our previews of the year, guys, we all thought less than 10 wins would be a disappointment with their schedule. We thought the game that was really the challenging one there, one of the biggest challenges was going to be Texas. They got that, like you said, in their rearview mirror. They're 6-0. Now, to me, it's about you're in a different mindset now as players, as coaches, and that is you're now not the surprise team turning it around. You're the favorite to win the Big 12 now. You're a favorite from the Big 12 to go to the playoff now. It's a different animal. So the key now is going to be the focus on keeping it one game at a time, keeping the main thing the main thing.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but OU has the highest chance to make the playoff and win the national championship, according to the ESPN models. I think it's the FPI or Bill Connolly, one of the two at ESPN. So they've been big on OU since before the Texas game. I know they were like second in FPI heading into that game. So those analytics, whatever they may be, really like the Sooners and have for a while now.
Yeah, that's right. And as I think it was Jay that said it, just you have to take it one step at a time for the rest of the season, right? You've now accomplished your goal for the first half of the year, 6-0. And right, in Oklahoma, it's so easy to play with that underdog mentality whenever you are told, hey, you went 6-7 last year. You still have a lot to be proven. But now you're going to start to get the public praise that, hey, Oklahoma's back, right? They're not that 6-7 team. So it's how are you going to take that mindset into the second half of the year and elevate yourself to be put above the rest of your opponents, not going in with this satisfied mentality. And I think all that comes from Brent Venables, right? He's never satisfied. Even if Oklahoma was to win the national championship, he would still find things to complain about, right? Because he's a coach that's so hungry and wants everything to be perfect. So I think that we're going to see an Oklahoma team that's going to go into the second half of the season just as determined and willed as they were in the first half. That was wrong.
I was going to say, guys, what's the difference this year? How are they 6-0? In your mind, let's talk about how they've gotten to 6-0, right?
1-0 on the week.
What?
1-0 on the week.
1-0 on the week, but I'm talking about, to me, I look at a few things. To the difference between this year and last year. The depth, the transfer portal, guys they got have made an impact. They've made a big-time impact. You look at guys like McCullough, Bothroyd on defense, Trace Ford defensively. Offensively, you look at guys like Andrell Anthony. I mean, they've had immediate, massive impacts from the portal, but also Dylan Gabriel's that much better this year, period. He's a front runner for a Heisman, guys. He is. If he keeps up.
Dylan Gabriel had his Heisman moment. You always have to have that moment to throw you into that Heisman conversation. He did it. 1:17 to go 75 yards. He did it with, a minute and 2 seconds. That was one of the best throws I've seen. Just to be able to just throw it up there with all that pressure coming in on him, find Nick Anderson in the back of the end zone. I mean, I think he said he was at first going to just throw it away to not get the sack. And then when he's starting to jump to make that throw, as the pocket's collapsing, he realized, wait, Nick Anderson's, he's open. I can throw it up to him and win the game right here. So, yeah, DG's in that Heisman conversation. You mentioned the transfers they have. And don't forget about the freshmen that they have. I mean,
that too.
Peyton Bowen forced a turnover in his first ever Red River rivalry. Like, that's a 5-star safety. TJ has been great. Just the depth in general, competitive depth, has been like light and day difference from last year to this year.
And the development of the players. Look at the defensive line; they've gotten way better nowadays.
It's also been the development of the coaches. Brent Venables and Jeff Levy have been 10 times better in game than they were last year. They would be the first to attest to that. So yeah, constant development really throughout the offseason and the season and the year 2 under the culture of Brent Venables. All that works together. So guys, Jackson, we'll start with you. Where's this team looking at the next second half of the season? What needs to happen for this to continue, or who do you think is going to be one who makes an impact the second half of the season, maybe didn't in the first half of the season?
Well, I think that for this team to continue on the pace they're on, they basically are going to have to keep doing what they are doing, right? Don't change things up. I may sound simple or cliche, but just keep on playing so complimentary on both sides of the ball. Though I do want to see the special teams improve through the second half of the season because it has not been good. It's looked pretty awful at times, right? It's been the weakness of Oklahoma's team so far this year. And I just think maybe that an opponent or someone that's like maybe causes concern would be, I would say Kansas maybe because of Jalen Daniels if he's healthy. But I mean, outside of
playing,
what?
I think he's sitting out the year.
Yeah, Jeremy, you're muted.
He won't play another game this year. Bold take.
Yeah, but I just think that, and also someone that I looked at for Oklahoma to potentially make an impact that hasn't so far because Angelo Anthony got hurt. A guy that I'm going to watch for to step up is Gavin Freeman, okay? I don't think really that he's – because throughout fall camp, the talk was about Gavin Freeman, right? That's the name we heard the most. And he really just maybe kind of hasn't gotten his opportunity yet, right? Because obviously with how well Angelo Anthony was playing. So,
hey, Jackson.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the Gavin Freeman thing because that's all we heard about. My question is, for him to play, Stoops has to be off the field. They're not. I don't think they're going to play Stoops and Freeman together. Do y'all?
I mean,
I don't think he replaces Anthony. I think he would replace Stoops. That's just my opinion. What do y'all think? Do you think they'll put them both together? Maybe.
No, we haven't seen it yet, or at least
maybe
we have. Very rare. I
you
would be shocked.
Try it. I think. I mean, you could try it.
They might. I mean,
I don't think they do it with only 3 wide receivers on the field.
No,
they'd have to pull a tight end out.
It's pretty clear what they're going to do on the Anthony side. It's going to be Nick Anderson 1. It's going to be Gibson getting a lot more run, and the third guy is going to be Brennan Thompson or someone who's going to be a deep threat.
Yeah,
I would like Freeman to get more involved. I think he needs to because he was talked so highly of. I think he's got some very good talent and skill. So we'll see if they can maybe get him.
I think a lot of it just, again, how deep that wide receiver room is. Yeah. Like Brennan Thompson in his first and only game he's played in so far had that deep ball. I think 2 receptions for like 56 yards. Jaden Gibson he's averaging like 26 yards per catch. Nick Anderson scores every time he touches the football. Like, those are guys that aren't starters. And then you have Gavin Freeman. Like, yeah, Gavin Freeman returned the punt against Arkansas State, and I think he had another touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
So, but just since then, it's been hard to get them on the field because of just how many guys you have. Like Jacquez Petaway, like 10 receptions against Arkansas State, hasn't had a reception, or maybe he's had a couple. He hasn't had many since then.
I think he's had 1 reception. It was versus TU. But I mean, outside, like, he probably hasn't played more than 15 snaps since Arkansas State game.
What do y'all think about the running back room moving forward this year? Is the experiment? Oh, is it Barnes and is it Major and Walker going forward, or do you think Barnes and Sawcheck will eventually kind of get more reps?
I think you got to stick with Major and Walker. Like, that's what's working right now. Like, they gave Sawchuck some attempts, which again, it's hard to get going when you're getting very few touches against Texas. But when he was getting the ball, nothing was working. The best way to run the football against Texas outside of Dylan Gabriel was with Tolly Walker or Marcus Major. I think those two is just you got to stick with them, kind of rotate in and
those
out.
two, yeah, those two guys. If you want to say what fits the identity of OU football under Brent Venables, it's Tolly Walker and Marcus Major because of the physicality, because of what they bring to the table in that area. Saltchuck will continue to get spots and probably try to get him out in the flat. I don't know if Barnes will see many carries the rest of the season, guys.
Yeah, we'll see. But the UCF game is a game to get right a little bit rushing. I mean, I think they allowed 500 yards to Kansas on the ground. Defensively, they just and looking at these matchups moving forward, I got one I think really I think it's going to be a really tough game, and I think that's at BYU. I think that game, being where it is on the schedule, you got right before Thanksgiving, then you got TCU at home after that on a short turnaround. I could see BYU's a tough atmosphere, and it's a kind of out in the West there. I don't know. I kind of see that as I see that more than the Kansas game, Jackson, in my opinion. But Kansas is going to be tough too. I just don't think Kansas has the defense to hold OU. I really don't.
I don't think anyone's got the defense to hold OU. And the thing is, with BYU where it's at in the schedule, you got TCU at home the next week. Not to overlook TCU, but really, if they are undefeated going into BYU, that's the only game that would keep them from possibly being where they want to go. So they're going to be all in, all focused.
Hey, Jay, back to what you said on UCF's rushing defense.
Yeah.
They're atrocious.
Very
bad. 121st out of 130 FBS teams bad.
Yeah,
they're awful. Yeah, very bad.
Hey,
maybe Dylan Gabriel rushes for 150.
Maybe. Hey, speaking of rushing game, where's let's talk about the O-line for a minute here. Where are they going moving forward? Caden Green getting that spot at left guard, and then what about Matauer? Who's taking over there, guys?
I mean, I think that you may have to try something with Caden Green and Savion Byrd on the inside. I mean, I don't know. Do you go with Caleb Schaefer on the inside? Do you maybe try a guy like Jake Taylor at guard? So really, I don't really know what they're going to do there at guard. It'll be interesting to see, but I would like to see a combo of Green and Byrd on the inside. But I mean, truly, no, you can never really predict what Bill Bedenbaugh is going to do because he can do so many different things with so many different guys.
Yeah, I think you got to go with Caleb Schaefer first on that side. And I think there's a way you can try to get Savion Byrd back in the rotation at some point because he does bring something that maybe some other guys don't. But until he's right and he's where he needs to be, you know, as far as focus and all that, you go with these guys that you got right now. And Caleb Schaefer, if you look at his game against Texas, he did some good things in a big-time atmosphere. Obviously, you got to reward him for his play.
Yeah, I agree, Jerm. I think that's I said it like in one of the post-game things we did on how Caleb Schaefer, I think, got the nod because of his just veteran experience. He's played a lot of college football. I think this is his last year of eligibility. He might have another year. It's like a COVID year. It's hard to keep up with some of that. But to be able to go into that moment, you're a veteran, first ever Red River rivalry, and the leader of the offensive line and McCade Matauer goes down. So to have to fill in for it and fill in the way Caleb Schaefer did, it's going to be hard to keep him out of that starting role until McCade's back into the lineup.
Yeah, I agree. Where do you guys see OU finishing regular season? Do you all see them undefeated, first off? Second off, will they play Texas again or is somebody getting there?
I'll open it. Yeah, I think they go 12-0 and play Texas in the rematch in the Big 12 championship.
And you got some bulletin board material out there now.
Why?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying it's going to be that would be an interesting.
Wait, hold on. It's because Oklahoma only fears God, right? And Texas fears
Texas fears Oklahoma. Hey, so you think so? What about you, Jackson?
What was the question again? Sorry.
Does OU go undefeated? And then who do they play in the Big 12 title game?
Yes, I think that they do go undefeated. They would really honestly have to screw up if they don't. And I do think they'll end up playing Texas, but I mean, I kind of just, Iowa State plays Texas today. I think that's a game I'm gonna watch.
They don't play today.
They're playing Cincinnati today.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
They play later in the year.
Texas is at Houston. Hey,
Okay, Texas.
I'm
Not
taking
this week, next week.
OU will be undefeated.
Texas is on a bye. Texas is on a bye.
Yeah, their next game is at Houston.
Yeah.
And OU will play Iowa State in the Big 12 title game. I'll say it right here, Jay, you might agree with that.
I
I'm
actually
going OU Iowa State.
last
OU
week.
Iowa State in the Big 12 title game, December 2nd.
Well,
I agree, Jeremy. I texted that last week. I think Iowa State's going to put some wins together here. I think, Campbell's a good coach and Beck's a good quarterback. He really is. And they get Texas in Iowa State, and I think they pull the upset there.
If Iowa State makes the Big 12 championship, Matt Campbell should win Coach of the Year. That's all I'm going to say. If they're able to make
Venables should still be Coach of the Year.
no, like you look at everything Iowa State has went through this past year, all the players that they have lost. If you're able to make it to a conference championship game with all those issues that they had, that is Coach of the Year material.
Well, Brett Yormark's got to be rooting for Iowa State because otherwise he's not going to the Big 12 title game. He's not going to go if it's OU Texas. And I hate Texas. I really do. I do not want to see them again. I can't stand Texas. I'd rather not play them again, to be honest with you. But the thing is, looking at OU's schedule, Kansas will be the only other ranked team they play. And that's the only issue with it is you can't slip up if that happens.
And no matter who Oklahoma plays in the conference championship, Oklahoma, they do not care. They're going to come in and they are going to out-physical every single opponent that they play. Right? I just think that Oklahoma in the trenches, they've shown really no matter who they go up against that they can compete with anyone. And I honestly think that's going to give them the advantage no matter who they play.
Well, if Texas isn't in the Big 12 championship, that means something went very, very wrong for them to the point that they might not even be ranked at the end of the season if they lost enough games to fall out of Big 12 championship contention. So, again, that would be very bad for OU if that big Texas win all of a sudden at the end of the year, they're not even a ranked team.
Now, it won't matter if OU's undefeated at least, and so that's the main thing. And guys, I know that would be probably great news for Sooner fans too if Texas is falling out of existence in the top 25. I know a lot of fans would be on board with that, but yeah. So we are at the midway point. OU is on a bye. And it's interesting. They did not take really much time off this week. I thought that was interesting. That they, and from what we've heard, practiced pretty hard after a huge win in the Red River rivalry. So it's going to be exciting second season. Hopefully USC goes down tonight against Notre Dame. Would create big smiles for Sooner fans as well. But, yeah, so make sure you're part of what's happening on the Sooner Surge and drop your comments, what you think OU's final record will be, who their toughest opponent is remaining. Who's going to be a standout that did not stand out the first half of the year? Drop them in the comment section here. We want to hear from you guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Till next time. Boomer.
Boomer.